Hey, everybody. Today we're going to talk about food delivery as a side hustle. You may have heard about it. You may know some people that do it. You've thought about it. You don't know what to do next. I'm going to break it down for you. So let's get started. It's common today for people to want some kind of money-making venture on the side. A few extra dollars here and there can help relieve a lot of financial stress, allow for some comfortable pocket money, cover some extra expenses. Of all the options, there are few that are as easy and as accessible as independent food delivery. If you've been looking for something, this just might be the ticket. There are a number of companies that offer food delivery from a restaurant directly to your door, and they are all looking for drivers. They establish the infrastructure, build a network of participating restaurant and vendors, and they have a complete system established in areas all around the country. The last component they need are the people who will fulfill the actual movement of food from point A to point B. In spite of all the investment spent on building up their brand, without someone to complete each delivery, they have nothing. This creates an opportunity for virtually anyone who has reliable transportation and wants to turn spare time into income. What makes this delivery job unique is that you can enter it without any special training or skills and with little to no investment or risk. You can start immediately, work whenever, as much or as little as you want. The only downside is that the pay is only slightly above average, but there are ways to help push your results toward the upper range, and that's part of what I will cover here today. To simplify this essential aspect of their business model, the delivery companies have chosen to utilize a gig-based structure for hiring drivers. It's important to know how this work opportunity operates if you want to realistically function in it and maximize the return on your effort. I worked in this industry for several months for two of the top delivery companies to get an inside understanding of the workings. I'm sharing what I learned so anyone who is considering this venture can do so with clear expectations. There are subtle differences in the operation of the two companies I represented, but those distinctions may not be significant to you, so I'll focus more on their similarities. The basic structures are the same. To get started, you simply download the app for the company you want to work for to your phone. Once you do, the app will guide you through the steps you must follow for them to approve you. It only takes minutes to provide the information required. You have to give them details on the vehicle you'll be using and some personal information. They run a quick background check on you for apparent reasons. If you're considering trying this but still unsure, go ahead and download the app for the service or services you want to represent. You can sign up for more than one, but once you get going, there is a strategy I'll offer for how to choose which one to use and when. Once you're approved, you're ready to go. At this point, you've invested nothing but a little bit of your time. Nice way to get started in a business. As a delivery driver, once you're part of the system, you choose when you want to work by logging into the app for the service or services for which you want to do deliveries that day. I'll talk strategy later. Once logged on, you will start to see offers pop up on your phone. When you set up the app, it requires you to allow notifications, so these offers will either appear on your screen or will make a sound to alert you of their presence. You always have the right to accept, reject, or just ignore any of these offers when you receive them. One of the most important things you need to learn is how to quickly evaluate each offer before you decide to accept it. The format for each company is different, so you have to learn to recognize where the important data is located on each pop-up. You only have seconds to accept an offer or it goes away, so you must develop your own system for making quick decisions. And unfortunately, many offers will appear while you're driving. Contrary to safety protocols and common sense, The enormous flaw in these systems is that it forces you to focus on your phone while driving. Most of your time is spent in the car heading to either a pickup or delivery, and you're already keeping your eye on the screen for GPS. When you get offers while moving, you won't be able to just stop on a busy street or pull over and read them carefully. When they start to come in, your attention is divided between driving safely, navigating to your next stop, and evaluating the offers that are bombarding your phone. Since the pop-ups on one company automatically overlay any other programs, you also lose access to your GPS screen at a critical moment of your trip. The irony is that the company pings your location every few seconds, so it knows when your vehicle's moving. It should be an easy fix for the system to not send offers if it shows the driver is en route. But they want to keep you busy and locked into making deliveries for them. So if they have available jobs, they will send you a barrage of offers while you're still heading to a current delivery. Unless you plan to do deliveries as a full-time endeavor, the amount of wear and tear on your car will be minimal and not really a measurable expense. But you will rack up miles doing deliveries and burn a lot of gas. Depending on the efficiency of your vehicle, this will eat into your profit. For my SUV, I estimate a cost of 20 to 25% of the money I earned used to pay for fuel. Out of every $100 I gross, I only net 75 to 80. It will take a while for you to figure out your numbers, and you need to use averages collected over time. So far, you've only invested a little bit of your time, and if you have fuel in the tank, you're ready to go. You want to log on, but you're still wondering how to decide whether to accept a delivery when you get an offer. If you decide to jump right in and start taking offers, the worst that can happen is that you don't make as much money as you hoped. With each new experience, you learn more about how to determine if an offer is good for you. To help speed up your success, let me explain the processes I developed. I spent a week logging on to both companies, a few hours a day, and I watched offers appear from home without accepting any of them. I used that time to learn how to read them, get an idea of what restaurants were using the services, and what kind of offers come at what hours of the day. Part of my mental preparation was just getting comfortable with the idea of jumping in my car, driving to a business, picking up an order of food, and taking it to a customer. As I watched, I saw the wide range of pay different offers included, so I knew I would not want to just take every offer that popped up. The companies determine your acceptance rate as a percentage of offers. It is used in some algorithm they apply for prioritizing which drivers get which offers, but I never worried about that, and I never had a shortage of offers during good working hours. The companies would scold me for my low acceptance rate, but it seemed more like a parent counting to 3 than a real threat that would affect my ability to work. Remember, without drivers, their entire company is worth nothing. So while they do maintain some structure and control, as long as you do your job, you are a valuable commodity they cannot afford to lose. In fact, they're constantly making enticing offers of bonuses for drivers to take certain deliveries during certain hours in certain areas. They'll also pay you if you give them a referral for a new driver who starts working for them. I live in a small town, and there are limited deliveries there, but also limited drivers. Most of the restaurants are located in the same part of town, but many of the deliveries are several miles outside of town in all directions. This type of area means that most of your deliveries will be out and back, with the return mileage being completely unproductive. In a bigger city, you can get pickups all over town, so you have fewer miles spent just getting back to the restaurants. If I wanted to change the pace, I go to one of the larger cities nearby. Once you're set up in the system, you can work anywhere you want. When you log on, they instantly know where you are and will send you offers for that area. The zones vary in size, and some are ridiculously large. You might continually get offers for pickup and delivery for 10 to 20 miles away or several towns away. If you want to remain working in one area, you have to carefully review each offer, or you'll end up accepting one farther away than you intended. It seems that the offers start to cause you to drift farther and farther away from your desired location. You do have the option to cancel an offer you just accepted. Remember how I said that the offers of one company overlay all apps on your phone? Well, that means that if you're using your phone when one pops up, you might inadvertently press accept when you meant to type a C in the text message. If you do cancel an offer you just accepted, the company will start to count to 3 again. But only you can decide if a delivery is worth it to you. If you pick one in error or you wish you didn't take, you can get out of it if you do so before the pickup. Canceling after a pickup without a very strong reason can be a cause for dismissal. Note that this use of the term cancel is for you backing out of your acceptance to make the delivery. Only the customer can cancel an order with the restaurant. If you find yourself in some gray area, you need to contact help at the company to figure out how to solve the problem. You do not want to appear to be taking food at someone else's expense. On an offer pop-up, you get limited information and you get limited time to review the screen before it goes away. The most prominent details displayed are the name of the restaurant and the anticipated earnings. If you don't want to take every delivery presented, you have to quickly find the other details on the screen to make a good determination. Once the pop-up is gone, it's too late. Information is only given as needed within these apps. Once you accept an offer, the pay rate disappears for good. The app never gives you precise delivery information until the pickup is completed and you're ready to head there. For chain restaurants, be careful not to assume the pickup is for a specific location. The app determines which restaurant to use to fulfill the order, and it's not always the one closest to your current position. It might display a store number or an address during the pop-up, so you want to become familiar with the ones in the areas where you plan to work. In each pop-up, there's an estimated mileage to complete the job and an amount of time to complete the trip. It's not clear whether that mileage is from pickup to delivery or from your current location to delivery. It does seem the mileage suggested is routinely lower than my actual experience, which is why I set strict acceptance criteria based on mileage. You might see a tiny map in the offer showing the points involved, the direction of travel, but it's impossible to read accurately in the brief time you have, and it can often be misleading. From the size of the map on a phone screen, the distances look smaller than they actually are, and north is not always up. Eventually, you will be able to spot the essential information with a glance, but you still need a quick way to evaluate the details while driving or doing other things. The pay information is intentionally presented as the largest thing in the pop-up, but if you choose based on this alone, you will end up taking offers you regret when you discover the amount of miles or time involved. The first thing to look for in an offer is where the pickup and delivery are. This is harder if you're in an unfamiliar zone, but make sure both locations are within your acceptable range. Sometimes, because of the size of the zone, they'll send you offers that are not feasible for you to get to in any reasonable amount of time from where you currently are. The underlying goal of the algorithm is to get drivers who will make deliveries for all the orders placed. That means that depending on the available drivers logged on in a zone and the number of offers that need to be filled, the app will increase distribution of offers in a wider and wider space until it finds someone who will accept the delivery. While there is a fare you will be paid by the company for each delivery, you make most of your money from customer tips. If you deliver cold burgers and fries an hour after they were ordered, you won't have happy customers. Your tips will suffer, if you get any. When it is busy, the companies will often combine deliveries for drivers. This is the best way to maximize your income. By adding a small amount of time and a few more miles to a current delivery, you can double or triple your pay. These kinds of opportunities happen more frequently in larger cities and busier areas. While you can do okay in small towns, when every trip is a standalone gig, there's only so much one customer will pay for any delivery. Because of my gas-guzzling vehicle, I quickly learned that miles traveled and dollars paid were closely related and a critical factor as to whether an offer made sense for me. I did some calculations and determined that if the miles exceeded the dollars paid, it was not going to be a profitable gig. Another way to evaluate an offer is the dollars paid versus time spent. The time estimate provided is usually from pickup to delivery, so you have to add the additional travel time from where you are to the pickup. From this time estimate, if you can do quick math in your head, you can extrapolate that number to an hourly pay rate and determine if that seems acceptable for you. For instance, a gig offering $6 that only takes 15 minutes puts you in a potential $24 an hour range. But if that same gig will take you 30 minutes, you drop to $12 an hour. The time and distance displayed in an offer are conservative estimates, but at least you have some basis for helping you make your choices. I have seen $6 offers that will take 50 minutes or more. No, thank you. And I have seen $35 offers that will take an hour and 15 minutes. Now we're talking, but it will involve 30 miles. For me, that job just dropped my net pay after gas to about $20 an hour. Acceptable, but not as stellar as the first glance indicated. The advantage of the higher dollar gigs is that you know you will get paid $35 after you complete the delivery. You can't be sure if you can make $35 on a series of smaller jobs during that same time frame. So this becomes a matter of choice by certainty. The other advantage in taking the odd jobs is that people who live at a distance from the stores or order at off hours are likely to tip more. Since the system is automated, there's no way you can keep up with everything about it on your own or try to game it and only take the best jobs. The most practical way to choose offers is not to decide which ones you want to accept, but develop some knockout conditions to show which ones to reject. Your time is what you're trading for fares and tips. So the more your time you spend actively working, not waiting for an offer, the more money you can make. Just understand the wide range of pay means that if you are busy with lower paying gigs, you might still only reach $10 to $12 hour rate. The better paying jobs can get you double that. Delivering prepared food from restaurants to customers is the core of this business. In addition, there are a lot of other types of deliveries. You can pick up online orders from drugstores, grocery stores, home centers, convenience stores, and deliver those orders to customers. The store pulls the order, you pick up the package from them, ready to deliver. Many companies are also starting to offer shop and deliver services where you pull each item from the shelves yourself, pay for it using a company virtual card they give you, and then you can deliver it. Let's talk about the pros and cons of these. One of the biggest frustrations for any type of delivery is when your pickup's not ready when you arrive. This can happen at any of these types of stores or restaurants. The apps all have a feature where you can alert the company if the pickup is delayed for any reason, and so they won't scold you for taking too long. I use this feature every time the order is not immediately ready. They also give you an opportunity to opt out of the job if the delay lasts long enough. But once you've already spent 10 minutes driving there, 10 minutes waiting, it's hard to just walk away with nothing. But you might be given that as an option. Oh, if that happens, they promise not to yell at you about it. The delivery of pulled orders at a grocery store, drugstore, or home center are some of my favorites. For one such chain, you schedule the pickup ahead of time, so there's rarely a wait. You usually get 2 to 3 deliveries per gig, so by the time you get all of them delivered, you have already covered a good hourly rate, and often you spent less than an hour. I find these a good way to start a day. The problem with the shop and deliver jobs is going into stores you don't know. There is some help in the app as to where things should be on the shelves, but there's still a lot of time spent searching for items. You have to find the exact item the customer selected. People who work at the stores don't want to be bothered every time you can't locate something. The store is frequently out of a specific item, so you have to let the customer know through the app. They can suggest a replacement, but often this back and forth time spent trying to settle on a substitution starts to drag on. You cannot clear the order to check out till you satisfy both the app and the customer that you have everything that was available. If you're familiar with the store and you can find all the items easily, these gigs are good and can be fun as well as profitable. But when your 30-minute total trip estimate is already consumed at the store and you're still not finished, all the numbers start to change. These gigs are less frequently offered, but are worth trying out to see if you like them. Before you accept one, you have to get set up with a virtual card in your virtual wallet, or you need to pay for it yourself and apply for reimbursement, which can take days. Unless you want to be a no-interest bank, I don't recommend that. The virtual card is like every other technological aspect of this business. It's designed to make the process easy for anyone doing the job, with safeguards built in to protect the company, the store, and the customer. It does this by having a zero limit before each shopping trip. As you find items and place them in the cart, you scan them. This ensures you have the exact item the customer wanted, and it funds the card for the cost of just those items you scan. By the time you're ready to check out, you've verified exactly what you plan to purchase, the customer knows exactly which items you were able to find, and the company's authorized your use of the card to pay for that specific purchase checkout. Occasionally, if you don't have a precise substitution given by the customer, for instance, they tell you to buy any similar item, you have to get that item into the manifest so you can scan it, show it as an approved substitution, and get the card prepared to pay for it. If any one of those steps does not complete precisely, the card won't work. You can't check out, and you have to call the company for help. These companies don't want to tie up humans for such minor instances, so drivers must chat or talk with AI, who can virtually do nothing. Occasionally, you might get a pure courier gig, picking up a package from the customer and delivering it to some destination of their choosing. Could be person to person or person to business. You simply connect the dots. Most prepared food deliveries are a matter of convenience for customers. The idea likely sprung from pizza and Chinese food, which have used their own delivery services for decades. Being a third-party delivery service greatly expands the variety of options for the public, and people will pay a lot for the convenience of not having to leave their home. Some late-night deliveries or very rural ones tip the best because they appreciate you catering to their whims. Delivery of grocery items, medicines, and home center products is definitely convenience, but likely it's often meeting a different kind of need. Many people work from home, some with kids, and they simply cannot take the extra time needed to stop work, pack up the kids, and go to the store themselves. Others are elderly who either lack mobility or the ability to transport bags of heavy groceries from the car to the house. Having these items placed at their doorstep is a necessary convenience. You never know how important your delivery is to someone till you see the tip they leave. That's a strong motivation to recognize the significance of this service to some people. They value their time sufficiently so they're willing to pay you to save them time for other things. I bring this up because if you focus on the benefit to the customer you're serving, who are the ones who ultimately are paying you, then your job is not just to complete the delivery, but to do so in a way that meets or exceeds their expectations. That might mean protecting food from excessively long delivery times, keeping food warm or cold in insulated food bags, carefully placing the items at their home according to their instructions, or just using common sense. Simply let yourself be the customer for each delivery, and if you deliver to them the way you would prefer, most likely you'll get it right and get the best tip that customer is willing to give. These services run off the software that drives them. From the online order placed by the customer, to the receipt of the order at the store, to the offer you get, to the info you receive once you accept the offer, and through each step of the pickup and delivery process, humans created the program, but everything else is run by computers. When it works like it's supposed to, it's wonderful. Life is good. You are busy and making money. Customers are getting a valuable convenience, and restaurants are being fed business they could not otherwise reach. Then a glitch occurs. Sometimes the app assigns an order to an inappropriate store location. There's no arguing with it about that. There's no one in charge to argue with. Yes, there are 3 McDonald's closer to that delivery, but they sent the order to this one. That's the way of this business, and why is still a mystery. But for now, put your logic on hold and just go with it. The GPS varies in accuracy. Sometimes the pin used when the order was placed does not match the location of the delivery. Customer doesn't know that this is important. They give you the right address, but the app wants to take you to where it thinks you need to go. Sometimes the app seems determined that you are in the wrong place, even when standing face to face with the customer. I literally had an AI virtual agent on the phone tell me to walk around the apartment complex to get closer to the pin so I could get the app to give me access to the next step. The AI can do nothing but talk. It has no power to intervene. The apps are different with each company, but similar in that once you accept a delivery, you lose all the other details of the order you saw on the pop-up and are only offered GPS help for directions to the pickup. Once you arrive at the restaurant, you have to acknowledge to the app you're there. Once you satisfy the app that you are at the store, then you finally get customer and order information. If there are multiple pickups in this delivery, you will get a first name and a last initial for each. You can click beside the name to see the items in their order. The service and the customer expect you to verify the order to the extent you can without opening up anything the restaurant sealed up. That's all you get till you acknowledge in the app that you have picked up the order. You don't want to complete the pickup step in the app before you're walking out the door with the food because it shuts you out of all previous app information and it starts the clock to determine what an acceptable time for delivery is. You will get yelled at if you're not prompt in making the delivery according to what the app determines is timely. If there are multiple pickups from this restaurant, the app decides which one you deliver first and will not tell you where the second one is till you've completed the first delivery. If there is a second pickup, it will direct you there next, most likely. But whatever the app decides, it does not give you an option to choose otherwise. It limits the information you get to the next task it wants you to complete. So there's no option for you to change sequence of events. This annoying feature is also comforting when you allow a service to feed you multiple orders at a time. You surrender the worry and concern for the schedule to the app. All you have to do is what comes next. If you get really busy, you'll learn to appreciate this feature. If you're trying to play the system by accepting offers from more than one company at the same time, then you feel the pressure to figure out all those details on your own, and since they withhold most of that information from you, you risk getting it wrong. If you head out in the opposite direction to fulfill one company's order first, the software from the other company detects the delay and will take that offer back after a few minutes. If you luck out and all your travel's in the same general direction, you might be able to complete them all without the apps knowing you're double dipping. I don't recommend you do this, although I've done it and would continue to do it, but only very selectively. The best approach is to see which company gives you good offers when you start a shift, and once you get going, shut the other one off. You can go back and forth as you learn which company has the best offers in certain areas or at certain times of day. If you leave both apps on, you have to ignore a lot of offers and you will get scolded and your acceptance rate will go down if that's important to you. If you take on this job, there's an underlying premise that you are there for transport a product from one place to another. As such, while the food or other items are in your possession, you have the responsibility to take care of them. Your job is the safe handling and transport of the items from the store to the customer. That means you need to be able to deliver them in essentially the same condition as they were when you picked them up. No matter how you store the items in your vehicle, they need to be safe. If you have to stop suddenly, you don't want food or drinks spilling out onto the mat of your car floor. Food bags are always recommended, but not always required by the store or the service. In addition to insulating the temperature and retaining humidity of the food, They also completely isolate it from the inside of your vehicle. You will want to place the bags in a location so they won't move no matter what your car does. I always place a delivery inside a bag, no matter what it is, for these reasons. Many restaurants give you fountain drinks in a cardboard tray that is not sufficient to secure the drinks in a moving vehicle. I purchased an insulated drink bag with Velcro dividers to put these items in so they cannot tip over during transit. I keep the cardboard tray the restaurant used for when I make the delivery. So far, I have 100% safe delivery of all food and drinks I picked up. The other implied responsibility is to deliver everything in the order. If you're tempted to eat the fries or keep the orange that rolled out of the grocery bag, you're violating one of the most basic trusts afforded you when you were hired. Nothing you transport is yours. You are simply the custodian of that product temporarily, and it's incumbent upon you to take necessary measures to protect it during transport and deliver it safe and complete. Don't find out what company policy is by violating this trust, either intentionally or recklessly. Something extraordinary were to happen, the company will support you in your efforts and recognize if intervening circumstances were beyond your control. While it is the job of the restaurant to safely pack the food, develop your own habits and routines to keep the product secure so you can deliver it satisfactorily to the customer and increase your tip. The biggest difference I found in the two companies I represented was in the compensation. Both paid a similar underlying fare for the delivery. Most offered some trip bonuses for completing a certain number during certain periods of time. But the way they handle tips is much different. One guarantees the tips, and as soon as you complete a delivery, you get the entire amount credited. I'm not sure how that guarantee works with the customer. Could be the company makes up any difference if the customer doesn't want to pay that amount. The other company does not guarantee the tip to the driver and gives the customer the option to change the tip based on their satisfaction after the delivery is completed. They can reduce or increase the tip, just like you can at a restaurant. You get paid the fare right after delivery, but the tip's not credited for up to an hour or until the company gets confirmation from the customer of the desired amount. The results of how this impacts the total compensation is interesting. When a customer is required to tip a certain amount, they pay what they have to. They can complain about a problem, but apparently they cannot reduce the tip. Maybe the company has some built-in way of covering for that in case a customer is really unhappy. But the net effect is that rarely does a customer tip more than the required amount. When the tip is left to the discretion of the customer, they frequently tip more than the suggested amount, especially when they know the delivery was more involved, like larger orders, longer wait times at the restaurant, longer drives to the delivery location, or extremely late deliveries. These overtips start to add up, and if you get a few extremely generous customers, it can change a good shift into a great one.